Hello and welcome to my 7,000th attempt to be a YouTuber. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video I'm doing a makeup look. This is kind of my everyday, if I'm trying to look nice, makeup routine. All the products that I have are super tried and tested. I love all of these things. I know how they perform. I'll leave everything I'm using in the description box down below. And let's do this. I just reapplied my moisturizer as my skin prep, so I'm just gonna go straight in with my foundation product. This is a skin tint, but I really enjoy it, using the Keyvn Aucoin Strip Nude Skin Tint. Love this stuff. And I don't use a lot of it, I just use like a tiny little bit here and there, a little dibble down on my forehead, and that's about it. If you can see any dry patches on my face, it's because I'm using tretinoin. And I went in a little bit ham without doing enough moisture sandwiching. So it gave me some dry patches just here and around my nose. So if you can see them, that's what's going on there. In general though, I think it's really helped my skin. And my dark spots here used to be way deeper. I used to deal with pretty bad skin texture, but not so much anymore. I've been using it for a number of months now, so that's the skin tint on. Very skin-like, very natural, very slightly dewy, nothing over the top. Yeah, and I really like this skin tint. I don't know how to explain all the things that I like about it, but something about it I love. I have been using the Fenty Beauty Concealer and really liking it. Because the Keyvn Aucoin skin tint is kind of like a natural skin finish, more on the dewy side, I like using the Fenty concealer because that one is a little bit more matte, so I can kind of keep that longevity factor. And the Fenty concealer dries fairly quickly, so I'm gonna blend this out right now. See the placement of my concealer? That's pretty much stayed the same all through the years. Do it this way to try and lift my face. Blend it out with a little fluffy brush. You can kind of see the difference between here and here. This side is just... So now that the concealer is placed, I'm going to go in with the same brush I used for the foundation, and I'm just gonna blend out the edges of that. Because again, the concealer is quite matte. It's got quite a bit of coverage, and so I just want it to all look blended and not feel like I have just light concealer in the middle and then nothing else makes sense. Before I go in with powders, we're going to contour. Fenty Beauty Matchstick. I have the darkest shade, which is Caviar. And I actually just draw this on my face, just right on top of my cheekbone up here. Just that way. Repeat that on the other side. A little dot here on the temples, a little bit right here and right here. And then a little bit on the jawline, just to help me out. Something I've seen people do is a little bit on the top lip. I typically don't do this. I'll blend that out. For blending out the contour, I actually really like the Sigma Flat Kabuki. And I try to remember to blend upwards so that I'm not dragging the contour product lower than this line of my cheekbone. And always remember to blend out the jaw. If you're not used to placing there, sometimes it's easy to forget to blend it, and then you kind of have a situation. So now I just have some dimension, some shadow, some light. And now we're gonna go in with the powders. Starting with Givenchy, the Prisme Libre powder. This is the darkest shade it comes in. It's pretty cool, so it's a little quadrant thingy. It can get annoying because sometimes I'm I don't want the pink shade, but you can't really control what shade is coming out. So, and this is the best thing that has ever happened to my makeup. I got this one on AliExpress. But you just dab that into the powder and then tap it off. Okay, tap it all the way off. And then you press that you use that to press the powder into your skin. And this method is just so much better than using a brush. The thing with this powder is it's quite dry. So Sometimes I will like not be paying attention and then I will just use a little too much. But yeah, it's also quite blurring, quite smoothing. So I got this powder because a bunch of like beauty bloggers I follow described it as like their favorite powder. A bunch of makeup artists I follow were like, this powder is gorgeous. I still prefer the Charlotte Tilbury one. Okay, so this is my base. The blush that I typically use is this one by e.l.f. It's the e.l.f. Putty Blush in the shade Barley. It's like a brownie nude. Really like it. Because I'm wearing a brown shirt, I want to really pack on the color, so I'm going to use like a super dense foundation brush to apply this. And I'm also going to set it with a powder blush. But yeah, I love this blush as like an everyday because it's just like a little hint of color, nothing crazy, just accentuates the contour, but like in a very subtle way. Okay, I just adjusted the lights a little bit. But yeah, so I'm gonna go in with the powder blush to set that. I got this palette literally yesterday from, it's an Instagram vendor called The General Merchant. A friend of mine had bought stuff from here before and she posted this blush palette that has like 12 different colors in it. But I liked this one because it looks like a good brownie nude. And it's a super affordable palette as well, especially for all the colors you get. I think it's a really good way to test out like blush if you're new to it without having to spend a bunch of money. I'm gonna set the e.l.f. blush with that brown shade I just pointed out to you. Ooh. That's very pigmented, so I'm just gonna tap. It has more red in it than I would like, but I think it will work. I used to hate lipstick. Not hate, but I would never wear lipstick because I just didn't like the way that things looked on my skin. I felt like making lipstick work on my skin was just too much work. But I found a way to wear it now that I like. I'm going to use my Pat McGrath liner. This is the Permagel Ultra Glide eye pencil. It's a dark brown eye pencil, but I use it as a lip liner. Line this way. I like to go under the lip for my bottom lip. Kind of almost like as a contour. And then on my top lip, I'll go above it this way, like overline. But then I'll bring that line right back in. Just like that. And I found that the sort of like key to making a lip color work on my skin tone is using a brush and not just sort of like applying the color full on. I'll just take a brush like this and just like take off some of the lipstick on it. I'll apply it to my lips that way. And I can go back in as much as I need to. And I like this color a lot. It's by e.l.f. It's just like a nice nude. So now my finishing step is my Charlotte Tilbury powder. Today I'm gonna try to put lashes on. So that's gonna be the last step. But my Charlotte Tilbury powder, this is the state that it's currently in. I really need to get a new one. But I love this as a finishing powder. Tap that. And you'll just see, it just blurs out your skin in the most beautiful way. Without being drying, like the Givenchy powder. Okay, I'm gonna put lashes on and I'll be back. The process of getting these lashes on is the kind of story you die with. But I feel like when I'm far, they don't look bad. I just bought like a pack of like 7 or 8 from an Instagram store. And I just cut them in half because I only wanted to place them on the outer edges. Maybe I'll lift them next time, but yeah. Considering I never wear lashes, I don't think it looks bad. The glue was giving me hell, but yeah, I don't hate it. What do we think? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. This is the finished look. And I'll catch you in my next one.